I find the economist Thomas Sowell enormously helpful here. He wrote a book just a generation ago entitled The Conflict of Visions. And so Thomas Sowell's not a Christian believer. So he's not writing out of a Christian worldview, but he's writing out of a very deeply perceptive analysis of what's happened in the society. And he said, look, we have a clash of two worldviews. And the way he put it was, it's a clash between a worldview which is constrained and a worldview which is unconstrained. And clearly he was talking about conservatives or the right when he said constrained by law, constrained by tradition, constrained by constitution, constrained by sentences, and morality versus the unconstrained, just unbridled, continual social revolution, personal autonomy. But one of the things I think about when I go back to Thomas Sowell's Conflict of Visions is I don't think even he imagined that we were going to reach the time when on the left, they claimed a freedom from the constraint of biology. But that's where we are. And it's just a reminder, as you say it, that the most foundational issue here is basically an idolatry of the human self and of human autonomy. Because once you go down that road, if it's unconstrained, well, guess what? It's unconstrained. And anyone can show up as anything, anytime. And that's one of the reasons why the left is in such disarray. We got all kinds of issues on the right as well. But in the left, if you're unconstrained, it's very hard to have any kind of unified approach, which is why I think we see the transgender movement now very much in conflict with, ideological feminism and even gay and lesbian agendas. And, as someone who's a conservative believing in the constraint of moral law, the constraint of Christianity, the constraint even of embodiment, it's an amazing thing to watch because there is no apparent limit to this.
Another way of looking at this might be to pose the question, how do we understand liberty versus license? Liberty within constraints, within the guidelines, license, no guidelines, ultimately destroying liberty. Liberty can become, or license can become, freedom can become the enemy of freedom.
Yes, liberty is possible only under certain conditions. And I think this is something very much a part of the American genius, if I may say, but it was inherited from the British political tradition. And that is, so someone like Edmund Burke, it's a very clear understanding that order precedes liberty. And any true liberty requires a requisite prior order in such a way that you can walk out on the street. You can then claim a liberty of assembly, but that's only because, frankly, you can show up and leave your house without being afraid of being hurt or killed. And so I think what you have on the left is a denial of the fact that there's any particular order necessary for liberty. And what you have then is the disorder you refer to as license, which is exactly right. If all the rules are off, then all the rules are off. Liberty was never about all the rules being off. Liberty was about commonly accepting rules by which the society will rightly be ordered.